Hi, I'm Pam with Crafttown Fabrics, and today we're going to make a couple of small baby blankets out of some flannels. We have a 5-inch Charm Pack square and the Layer Cake 10 by 10 inch squares. This is Rick Rack Patty Whack by Kim Deal for Henry Glass and Company. It's a real fun and easy project to make, and we'll just get started. So first of all, you're going to take a layer cake square and lay it down, and then you're going to take a 5-inch charm and we're going to center that on the layer cake square. Now I took the cardboard from the back of the layer cake and kind of made me a little template here. I just measured 2.5 inches over on each side and then just cut out the middle. So what we can do, we can just lay that on there and then take your square and center it on there. Now if you want to check it, if you don't want to make a template, you can also take a small ruler and just go in 2.5 inches on each side and just kind of go around it to gauge to make sure that you've got it where you want it. Now you can pin it a couple of places if you want to keep that from moving while you're sewing it. And we're just going to sew a couple so that I can show you how we do that. So we've got one ready here. And I've got a couple more laid out here. We'll just use our ruler. You're going to take about a 3/8 inch seam around this, and what we're going to do, we're going to sew all the way around this square, and then we're going to layer our 2-layer cake charm squares and sew around the outside of it. Now what I did whenever I was making these quilts, I went ahead and laid out all my charm squares on top of my layer cake squares, and I just sewed them, got all those sewed together to begin with. And then I kind of picked which ones I wanted to go together, and you're going to flip them right sides together. Make sure those edges are even. And put a couple pins in there. Because now what we're going to do, we're going to sew all the way around these edges here. And after you get them all layered, you can just assembly line sew one side, turn them around, do the other side. But to show you how the squares look, we're just going to do this one here. Okay, we've got that sewn. Now, now what we're going to do, we're going to cut this on each diagonal, and we'll end up with 4 squares. So just line up your ruler on the diagonals. Turn this a little bit. Alright. And then what you have is 4 blocks. They should be about 6.5 inch blocks. Let's take them over and press them so we can see them a little bit better. You want to set your seam. And then just press open. Now you can check your squares to make sure that they are 6.5. Line up your diagonal line. Looks like this one's not too bad. Mainly the tips off the corners there. And I did this to all of mine just to make it come together a lot easier. Okay. So, I've got some squares done here. After you get all that done, you're going to arrange your squares. You want to mix up your colors some and some of the patterns. This line of flannel is really pretty and bright. And what you're going to do, you can sew this either by making rows, get it laid out the way that you want it, sew it in rows and then join the rows together, or you can even make it into like a 4-patch block and then sew your blocks together and then join the rows together. So whichever way is easier for you, but it really turns out pretty. The colors are bright and beautiful. And we have 2 quilts here on the wall. Out of 1 layer cake and a charm pack, we made both these baby quilts, and we had enough left over for our little burping pad or whatever you want to use it for. We put a bright green on the back. This set is a 3 by 3. If you look at the blocks, it does make a design, and so the more you mix it up, the prettier it is. So we hope you enjoy this tutorial. There'll be links at the end for you to look up any supplies that you might need, and we hope you come again. Thank you.